Hey guys, it's Paul Giroux. I'm a Sony artisan out of Orange County, California, and I've got something here at the house that I wanted to do a little bit of an unboxing video on, and it is the Sony 2.8 GMaster lens. Now, this is a lens that I have been waiting for since 2014 when I first switched to Sony and had hoped that they would have something like this to shoot sports. The first project I did was in 2014, and I shot with the A6000 and the 70-200 f4 to do a high school football project. I would have loved to have had this lens back then, and now it's finally here. So I am just so pleased that Sony came out with this. It's getting ready for the 2020 Olympics, but there's some things about this lens which I'm going to talk about after I unbox it that are very, very special. And unlike any lens that I've ever seen out there in this range, and I've been using a lens like a 2.8 for a long time. I think the first 2.8 I used was in 1989 or 1990, so it goes way back to when the lenses were really, really, really new. So let's open this up. Comes with the strap, the instructions, a bunch of nice polystyrene, as my wife would say, and a case. This is a box I'm going to save. I will keep this one in storage. So it comes with its own suitcase. Now, I don't know if I would ship this, but I think it's very nicely done. Beautifully made. This is what the lens case looks like inside. Foam to protect. Another strap there. It's secured. That will also go in storage. This is, the 400 is a sports photographer's dream lens. If Sony made one lens for sports photographers to start out with, this is the one. For football photographers, it's the perfect focal length, especially when you put a 1.4 or a 2x extender on it. You can practically shoot anything up and down the field. That gives you up to an 800 millimeter f5.6. That is pretty amazing, especially when you couple it with the high ISO of these new cameras. They're just so good at high ISOs that 6400 is the new 1600 in my book. It's that good. This is so light. This lens weighs 102 ounces, which is pretty doggone light when you consider how heavy these lenses used to be. Now, not that I would necessarily hand hold this, but if I had to, I could. So it comes with an end cap. Don't lose this. Very important to protect that rear element. As my friend and fellow Sony artisan Pat Murphy-Racy says, because of the new design, you've got to be extra careful of that front element. So you want to make sure that it's really well protected. All right. The lens hood is super light. It's got the nice orange Cinnabar Sony accent color that is the symbol of GMaster. This is the 2.8, and I am telling you, I have never used a lens this long, this fast, that weighs this little. And I remember the first Canon 400-2.8 that I used, and it was really beautiful, but it was also quite heavy. Now, one of the things that makes this lens so amazing is the design of it as well. You can see it's quite small comparing to what it had been. One of the reasons why Sony's lenses are so light in this range is because of what they call the linear motors. The other thing that's really exciting about this technology, not only what it does for this lens, this is, you know, the quintessential sports photographer's lens. Night baseball, indoor basketball, you can use it all with this 400-2.8. It is absolutely the dream lens. But what it means is, like, the 24-1.4 just got the linear motor. And if you saw that lens that just got announced, you'll see how small it was. It was tiny for a 24-1.4. Now that's relatively speaking, of course, but when you compare it to the lenses that are out there in third party and other brands, that 24-1.4 is smaller, lighter, with a much smaller filter size. It's a 67mm filter. That's amazing for a lens that packs that kind of performance optically. So this is going to be truly a revolutionary lens for sports photographers. I suspect that it's not the only sports lens that we are going to see, but if they had to come out with one lens at first, this is the one. Because the 400-2.8 is a lens that baseball photographers could use, and football photographers are going to love it, and other sports as well. Basketball, you'll be able to do that down court thing. I remember back in the day, as it was when I used to shoot for newspapers, we would shoot with a 100mm or a 70-200 in the forecourt, and then switch to a 300-2.8 or a 400-2.8 for down court action. Believe me, those lenses were a lot heavier. And the other thing that they've done with the way that they've designed this lens is that they've brought the element weight, the lens weight, from the front of the element, or the lens rather. What we used to be before, it was a very, very front heavy type of lens structure, both in Canon and Nikon, and they've brought more of the weight into the center. And what that does is it just makes it a lot lighter overall, but also more balanced. So it is absolutely an amazing lens, and I'm going to be shooting it tomorrow for the first time. I'm going to be shooting a high school game, a JV game at my favorite high school, Tesoro High School, and I can't wait to try it. The light should be amazing. The light should be great. And I'll be using this in conjunction with the A9. And one other thing, this just arrived as well. Now, even though it's a light lens, I still like to even though it's a light lens, I still think I should use a monopod. And the one that I've got just came in today, and this is the Sui carbon fiber. This is $100, $100 on Amazon for a carbon fiber 6-section monopod. I mean, it is like anything that Sui makes, the best bang for your buck out there in terms of tripods, monopods for video. They just make insanely good products for a really great value. So if you're looking for a monopod that's super light, super small, compact, and will go nicely with the 400-2.8, I'm going to put a link for this Sui monopod in the text below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. What I'm going to be doing tomorrow is to go beyond an unboxing video, but I really wanted to share my initial reaction to it because this is a lens that's going to have real utility in my kit, not only for action, not only for sports, but for other things as well. This will give me the ability, once I add the extenders, to go from 12mm all the way up to 800mm self-contained. That is something that I have wanted ever since I've been in photography, because that means there's nothing that I don't feel like I can't cover. And I like to cover a variety of things. I like to do portraits. I like to do video. I like to do sports. I like to do action. I like to do documentary projects. Now I know that I've got whatever I need to cover anything that I want. So thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you could subscribe, I'd love that. If you have any suggestions for videos that you'd like to see, please put them in the comments. I'm happy to listen to them, and I'm happy to address your questions that you might have in this video. That's what it's here for. That's what YouTube is great, because there's a lot of give and take. People get to see some things. Yes, I am sponsored by Sony. I definitely have a dog in this hunt. I do love their products. I do have a vested interest in their products, but don't take my word for it. Just like any videos out there, test them for yourself. Rent this from Lens Rentals. Rent it from anybody else, borrow lenses, and try it for yourself. Try the other Sony cameras. They are amazing. And I switched from 30 years of shooting DSLR to Sony back in 2014, when basically the a6000 and the 70-200 f4 were it for action kind of photography. The game has truly changed, as they say, and I really think that you're gonna see some amazing things coming out of Sony in the next few years. So thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.